I want to try out for the cheerleading squad of my high school. However, a lot of the cheerleaders who have been on the team for some years, they feel some type of way about me joining them. Well, you know what? I'm not going to let Little Miss Perfect ruin my time in high school by not being able to join, so this is what I decide to do. So, I'm 15 and recently decided I wanted to try out for our school's junior varsity cheerleading team. The thing is, I've never done cheerleading before, or any sport for that matter. My high school experience so far has just been me trying to find a hobby. Something to make me feel like I belong. And when the reason, is cheerleading, and the tryouts came around, I thought, why not? Maybe this was it. I was super nervous during the auditions, especially seeing some of the older cheerleaders perform. They look so confident, and their moves are flawless. To prepare, I spent countless hours watching their routines, trying to replicate their moves and chants in front of the bedroom mirror. I mean, I felt like a goof doing it, but I was hoping I'd get at least a few things right. When my turn came, my heart was racing, and I stepped into the gym floor and just did my best, trying to remember everything I had practiced. And when it was over, I was elated to get an offer from one of the coaches. She said she could see the potential in me, and with some hard work, I could be a great addition to the team, and I felt on top of the world. But that high, it came crashing down, and when I went back to the bleachers to sit down, a group of older cheerleaders was there, whispering and laughing. I thought maybe they were discussing some inside joke or something unrelated, but as I sat down, I realized their comments were directed at me. Remarks about how, quote, funny my moves looked, giggles about my lack of coordination, and a particularly hurtful comment about how I should maybe lose some weight before even thinking about joining the team. I was shocked and hurt, and these were supposed to be my teammates. I mean, the girls I was hoping to bond and create memories with. I plastered a smile, trying to brush it off as if their words did not pierce me. I wanted to scream and cry, but I held it in. I did not want to give them the satisfactory of seeing how much they hurt me. I went home that day over the moon to tell my parents that I've made the team. I wanted them to be proud, so I conveniently left out the part about the comment, and they were ecstatic. And for a brief moment, their happiness drowned out the taunts echoing in my head. But as the night wore on, and I laid there in bed, staring up at the ceiling, the weight of my situation pressed down on me. What had I gotten myself into? Were these girls going to make my life hell for the entire season? Was I in over my head? And why? Why did they feel the need to tear me down? P.S. Will you guys please give me some updates in the comments and stuff? It will be helpful to know your opinion. I'll update you with things how they unfold. Update number 1. It's been 2 months actually. 60 days since my last post, and a lot's happened. Many of you were supportive of my decision to join the junior varsity cheerleading team, even with no experience prior. I appreciate the kind words, and I thought it would get better. Oh boy, I was wrong. The girls, Stacey in particular, it's not her real name, but we'll call her that for the sake of the story, they've been ruthless. Each practice, each game, it felt like a minefield. I mean, I heard snickering, getting mocked at and stuff, and there was always an offhanded comment left or right, just loud enough for me to hear. While I did my best to ignore them, there were moments I'd find myself crying silently in the restroom. And our most recent game, listen to this, guys. While I was cheering and doing my best, Stacey's voice pierced through the others, and she literally said this, and I quote, "She's easily the ugliest on the team." It hit me pretty hard. It's one thing to make fun of my inexperience, it's another to attack my looks. I mean, come on. I've always been cautious of not being the stereotypical pretty girl, but this was just cruel. The following day at practice, I made a tough decision. I quit. I approached the coach and I explained everything, and while she was sympathetic and tried to persuade me to stay, I couldn't. I felt like a fish out of water, constantly being preyed upon. While I was packing my stuff up in the locker room, Stacey made her entrance, and this time more brazen than ever. Yeah, always knew you were a quitter, loser. It was as if the frustration and hurt welled up inside me and exploded. I faced her, eyes blazing, and said, "Duck you." Before flicking her off and walking away, it was raw, unfiltered, uncut moment, but man, it felt good. Not proud, good. That night, I broke the news to my parents, bracing myself for their reaction, and to my surprise, they were incredibly understanding. After all, they had witnessed my excitement, my hard work, and they hated seeing me unhappy. Dinner that evening was a comforting affair. I'm talking spaghetti, my favorite. And while eating, my mom shared stories from her youth, especially about her time playing soccer. The way she described it, adrenaline, teamwork, challenges, it all seemed fascinating. And with soccer tryouts around the corner, I started contemplating giving it a shot. Maybe a fresh start away from the claws of Stacey and her minions. So I went to bed that night with thinking all sorts of things, but part of me felt defeated for quitting. Another part felt relieved, and the small, hopeful part was curious about the new possibilities. Well, anyways, I'll keep you updated, guys. Thank you for the comments in the first post. You were so helpful. Update number 2. It's been almost 2 more months since my last post, and life's taken an unexpected turn. Your girl officially made it onto the soccer team. After the emotional drain of cheerleading, I was weary about it, but I found myself immediately at home on the soccer pitch. The best part, the team's amazing. I forged friendships faster than I ever did with the cheerleading squad. There was even this guy. He was named Yawn. From the day of tryouts, he was warm and welcoming. He got this infectious energy that made me feel right at home. Over the weeks, we'd chat, train together, and often found ourselves hanging out even outside of practice. I couldn't deny it. I started getting feelings for Yawn. But my heart almost stopped when one day after practice I saw Yawn and Stacey sharing a hug, right there on the sidelines. Everything fell silent for a moment, and Stacey? Really? It felt like all the hurt from the cheerleading just came flooding back, so I spent the rest of the evening trying to convince myself that maybe they were just buddies. But that pit in the core of your stomach, it grew deep, and I could not shake the feeling that they were together. Imagine my surprise the next day when Yawn approached me with a cheeky smile. A chicken biscuit in hand, my favorite, drenched in honey. The gesture was sweet and our conversation flowed naturally, but I had to ask, "So, Yawn, how do you know Stacey?" Yawn chuckled, probably noticing the unease in my voice. Oh, Stacey. She's my ex. We broke up a while ago, but she's so clingy." "Your ex? So you're not together?" Yawn leaned in. His voice dropped to a whisper. "Trust me, we're not together. She's so obsessed with me. But there's a reason we aren't together, and a big reason is I like you." You could have knocked me over with a feather. It was like something out of a teen drama. We both laughed, my earlier anxieties melting away, and I admitted my feelings for him too. And the world suddenly feeling brighter and lighter. But I had to share my history with Stacey. How she'd been the catalyst for my cheerleading exit, and Yawn listened, nodding at the right moment, occasionally cursing under his breath. Stupid Stacey. When I finished, he said, "Honestly, I'm not surprised. She's complicated and, jealousy mostly. She can be really mean when she wants to be." The rest of the night we texted back and forth into the wee hours of the morning. I was exhausted the next day, sharing Stacey tales and laughing over the sheer dynamics of the dramatics of it all. It felt like we were in our little world, I don't know, building a bond or something. But here's where I need your advice. Is it wrong to pursue something with Yawn, knowing that he's Stacey's ex, especially with our history? Guys, please let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you. Final update. Life sure has a way of coming full circle, doesn't it? Another month has flown by, and I found myself in the middle of a romantic novel that is, something I never anticipated. Yawn and I, officially a hot couple. The warmth of the early days only intensified, and we connected on such a deep level that we decided to give a relationship a shot. Safe to say, things have been nothing short of magical between us. Lazy afternoon dates, thrift stores, midnight calls, more honey chicken biscuits, and all the heart flutters one could even wish for. Then there's Stacey. Oh, Stacey. At first I thought I was just being paranoid, but it became impossible to ignore the dagger glances that she threw our way. The resentment was there, and everywhere Yawn and I went I could feel her eyes on me. It was like being in the spotlight. Only this light was cold and judgmental. Now listen, I wasn't intentionally trying to get back at Stacey by dating Yawn, but I can't deny a small part of me feels vindicated. Especially recalling her hurtful comments. I mean, the irony is not lost on me. How did the ugliest girl on the team manage to capture the heart of Stacey's ex-boyfriend that she's obsessed with? Oh, how the tables have turned. The entire situation has solidified my bond with Yawn. We've spent countless nights discussing the drama of how Stacey is still stalking us. One day after school, as Yawn and I shared a quiet moment under the trees with a nice little kiss, we overheard Stacey venting to a group of friends passing by on the walk. I can't believe he'd go for someone like her. After all we've been through, he chooses a fat girl. It was then that I realized this wasn't about me. It was about Stacey's unresolved feelings for Yawn and her bruised ego at the realization that he had moved on. For the first time, I genuinely felt sorry for her. Underneath all the malice was a heartbroken girl who could not come to terms with her own emotions. However, amidst all this, I'm left with a burning question. Am I the a-hole? While I feel secure in my relationship with Yawn and believe that we're genuinely meant for each other, I can't help but wonder if, in Stacey's eyes, I'm the bad guy. And by the way, I'm only 115 pounds. I just have chipmunk cheeks. Anyways, thanks guys for listening. Guys, let's just hop into some comments. This story, wow, I'm just saying good job, OP, for chasing what you want and going after it, but here's some comments. Comment 1. Honestly, OP, I'm on your side with this one. From your story, it seems Stacey was the real a-hole from the get-go. We're talking nasty remarks, blatant bullying. It's funny how life has a way of bringing karma full circle. Sometimes the universe just aligns things in a way where you get a bit of poetic justice. The bullies, X failing for you. Classic. Comment 2. Your story reminds me so much of something I went through in high school, albeit with my best friend, not a bully. But navigating relationships to that age is so tricky. I sincerely hope Yawn is not playing games and truly values you. However, while this sounds like a typical high school drama, I don't think you're the a-hole. Just make sure you're making the right choices that feel right for you. Guys, we're going to look at 3 more comments, but in my opinion, that comment gave a lot of insight and made the most sense. Here's comment 3. Honestly, everybody sucks here. OP, you probably should have given Yawn some space, especially after just coming out of a relationship, just to gauge his true intentions. Yeah, Yawn sounds like a bit of a player, not gonna lie. Jumping straight into another relationship after just ending one is questionable, and Stacey, oh, she's no saint either. Based on how she treated you initially, overall, everyone needs to take a step back and reevaluate. As I'm going over these comments, guys, let me know downstairs in our comment section which one you're rocking with the most. Here's comment 4. OP, definitely not the a-hole. You need to prioritize your happiness and heart above all. If you and Yawn have a genuine connection, then go for it. No one should ever be hindered by someone else's past, especially a bully. Stacey sounds like she has her own set of issues to deal with. Clingy much? You do you, girl. Now, let's go ahead and check out the final comment. Let's face it, these are just kids navigating the minefield of a high school emotion and drama. No one's really the a-hole here. I mean, they're 15. High school can be challenging for everyone, and each person is just trying to find their way. even if they make mistakes along the way. OP, I'm proud that you persuade your feelings and went after what you wanted. Even if it was complicated, cheers to learning and growing. That is my second favorite comment because yes, I agree. Let me know which comment that you're going with the most downstairs in our comment section. Once again, my name's Mr. Reddito. If you guys are new to this channel, this is my revenge story channel. Go ahead and check out my other channels in the description below. If you want to be a part of these daily stories, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys tomorrow, but remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya!